Well, we apologize for the technical issues we had before. These are things that will happen once in a while, some gremlins, but we are back in business. Decided to leave my lionesses with the little cubs because they went in a very rocky place. And I was saying before, you lost me. They split in two groups, 3 and 2, 3 with one cub and 2 with the 2 older cubs about 10 weeks old. I wasn't able to locate those 2 lionesses, but I'm sure they must have gone to look for some shade where they will bend for the rest of the day until maybe lift and they got what they need. They will not keep changing positions. So just trying to look this area. Yesterday morning we saw some 2 males, which is part of what we call the coalition that's led by one big boy called Kipuli. Just trying to see if we could see any one of them there. It's an area they love staying because it's full of zebras, and under it was 24 hours ago, and lions move a lot. So chances are they must have moved. Alrighty, I think we keep moving and see what holds ahead of us. Fig trees also around this laga, or the big trees, are always busy with monkeys that will come eating the fig trees. Not any that I can see now, but in the meantime, well, welcome back, and we are here, and what we're doing is trying to look for anything on top of these trees. We apologize for the gremlins again, and I think today we're having all these technical issues. Sometimes they'll come and go, depending on the weather, depending on the day. But you've got a very powerful tech team back in the office, people that you normally
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about the technical issues we are having. We're having a bit of an internet problem today, but you are back with us live in the Mara. And, well, we are with a herd of buffalo, and we were quite interested before because there's one buffalo here, very strangely. I'm trying to see if we can find her again. Her two front knees are extremely swollen, and I have no idea what causes that. I have no idea what causes it. I'm just trying to scan the herd again, see if we can find her. It didn't look very comfortable though, that's for sure. Some form of disease, no doubt. Disease of the swelling knee. I wonder if anyone out there, even without us showing you a video, if you can tell us why exactly a buffalo would get something like that. I haven't found her again. Have you, James? I can't see her anywhere. She's here somewhere. Nice breeding herd, busy feeding as they go. They've probably come from somewhere where there's been water. They've drunk nicely in the morning, just spending the night bedding down somewhere. Oh, that buffalo suddenly realized it's being filmed. Oxpeckers all over the place. Youngster with some mud on its bottom. And a little, even smaller one behind it. That much sort of more chocolatey brown colour. There's a female with a yellow-billed oxpecker cleaning its beak on her horns. She doesn't seem to be too happy with that. Carol and Lauren want to know if it's arthritis. I don't think so. I mean, arthritis affects the joints, and if we can find her for you again, you will notice she's got enormous swellings on her two front knees, almost like huge big tumours on the legs. But I don't know what it is. I still haven't found her again, but she's in here. She's in here somewhere. As soon as we find her, I promise you, we'll try to put her on camera for you. And it's quite gross looking, really. It doesn't look very nice. Poor thing. Wonder if it didn't seem to be affecting her walking, but it might affect her ability to run. Pushcats, you wondered if I think they get degenerative diseases. I'm really not sure. I mean, they are carriers of TB, but that doesn't seem to affect them in any way. There are a couple of other viruses and diseases that buffalo have, but you know, they just get old. Essentially, they're quite immune to many of the diseases out in the African wilds. Foot and mouth being a disease that they can transfer to cattle, and very likely will kill any domestic cattle. I'm not 100% sure if you get foot and mouth up in Kenya. Down in southern Africa and in Botswana, most certainly you do. Buffalo are shot on sight in the southern parts of Botswana, because the beef industry is very, very predominant down there. But considering we have got enormous amounts of buffalo in the Mara Conservancy, surrounded by probably millions of cattle, there doesn't seem to be any sort of disease transferred between the two. But with regards to other degenerative diseases, I'm really not an expert on diseases. It's one of those modules that we skipped through during my courses, but I don't know, it's never been something I've put too much attention into, but it's definitely something I should do some more reading on. But I'm going to move forward about 30 meters and see if we can find you this female who's not, well, I'm going to call her swollen knees for now, but when you see it, you're all going to feel a little bit of pity for her. A little bit of just really swollen, almost water-filled. No, it's not a catchy name, but when you see her, it's the most obvious name to give a female with such large swellings. Well, she's managed to skip her way forward. She was right at the back of the herd before. Still not. We definitely saw her. It was definitely a buffalo with very swollen knees. I can't see her now. It didn't cross the road. Sorry, folks. We'd like to show it to you, and I'd love to know. Yeah, I probably am seeing things. It's the heat. No, it's the altitude. It's the altitude. I promise you, folks. We will find her for you shortly. And then I'd love to know if anybody out there knows what is potentially the cause of really... Oh, there we go. She's at the back there, James. That one on the... Yeah, you've got her there. The one on the right of the screen. Have a look at those knees. Look at those knees. Oh, no. Isn't that sad? Doesn't seem to be affecting her too badly. Sorry, Emma, you had a comment there from Carol about cattle and knees. I'm not sure what you said. That little youngster's photobombing. It doesn't look very nice, does it? Let's just get another view. Oh, very interesting. She-Cat says cows get arthritis on their knees and it swells. But does it swell to the size... Oh, come on. I'm going to have to move forward again. Sorry, James. The buffalo herd is moving as one as they feed. And, well, clearly... Have you got the gap? She's just through the back there. But the buffalo are all making... Sure, we're not able to see her. She's getting lost in the ranks of buffalo. There she is to the right. To the right. One at the back there, behind that one that's looking at us. One with a wagging tail. If we give her a moment, she's going to move into view. Okay. CL, thank you. You said that buffalo do get the degenerative joint disease. Try to say that 10 times fast. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you. And does it cause swelling on the front legs? She is at the back there, but now she's obviously... Now she's the one behind. Sorry, folks. Obviously, when you want to see something... There, she's the one in the middle of picture now. There she is. Look at those legs. Come on, Mama, and show us your knees. That doesn't look very comfortable at all, does it? So if that is a cause, if that is the result of degenerative joint disease, well, shame. It's almost like gout. Don't think a 100% vegetarian can get gout. I'm not sure, though. Shame. Poor thing. Well, it doesn't seem to be affecting her too badly. She's still in amongst the herd, still in amongst the ranks. But it would be interesting to see if she's able to run like the rest of them when it comes down to it. What do you think? This one's just giving us a bit of a stare, looking at James. Okay, well, it seems that David left the Sausage Pride. He said he was going to be looking for some more lions. Normally, to look for lions, you should just follow the herds of buffalo. That's what they do down in Djuma. I wonder what David's plans are for finding his extra set of cats.
Steve, over there, we're trying now to look for something different that we have not seen for the last couple of days. And I'm thinking of cheetah. We haven't seen any cheetahs now. And I think now we are in week 2. Not a cheetah anywhere. But this is very good cheetah country. And the only thing I can see from a distance is a giraffe, zebras, wildebeest, ostriches. And maybe I'm going to stop for the ostrich, which we also have not spotted for the last few days. And maybe as I stop, look harder to see if we might see a cheetah. Bungay, tell me where to stop for the ostriches, which are right there. Keep going. That's good. 1 minute, I give you a good level, Bungay. So we've got to go down there and go a little bit up. Is that really good for you? All right. I was looking for cheetahs, but instead of cheetahs, we put some 2 ostriches. The largest bird we got in Africa. And I'm sure we all know they do not fly, but they're very fast on land, just like a cheetah. Because the first defense, if there's any concern, is speed. They just fly low. And interesting, what you'd call their knees or elbow bends backwards. And I'm very happy. You are all, glad that I was able to show you some ostriches in the midst of wildebeest. We haven't been seeing lots of ostriches the last few days. I don't know where they have been. And why I came here, as I said, I was looking for cheetahs, but at least haven't seen the cheetahs, but 2 ostriches are good. And you see they're grayish brown in color, and that says they are females. Very clear sexual dimorphism in the ostriches, and the males being black and white. But very interesting, when all of them are pretty young chicks, before they start fledging, they are all one color, like females. It could be very difficult until they're about 3-4 months to tell males from females. They all are brown grayish in color, but as they grow older, then males will stand out in black and white. A giraffe from a distance. Very good job, Bungay. And you can see how lucky giraffes are. Because of their height, they could reach any tall tree, either to feed or enjoy the shade, but I think this was just coming through. Caro, you want to know whether ostriches are monogamous. I do not think so, Caro. I'm not very sure. I'd want to double confirm that, but you'll see males and females, Oops, what's happening there? Oh, she just went down. I do not think they're monogamous, Caro, but I'll want to confirm that much later on. Nobody has been following them very closely, but what I know, once they lay the eggs, you'll get the female, Caro, incubating the eggs during the day. The females being grayish brown in color, they blend in very well, on the ground because of the color of the soil and the surrounding. And the males will in turn incubate the eggs at night because they tend also to blend in better in the darkness than the females. Huge eggs they lay, and we think one ostrich egg would be about 20 or a dozen or so chicken eggs. A giraffe girl, Jumbo, and that is your giraffe walking there in the midst of the ostriches and the wildebeest scratching themselves. And I'm happy, giraffe girl, you have seen a giraffe again this morning. Not sure anybody, not me or Steve, had seen giraffes today. I can't remember. Mrs. Gonzi, Africa in one shot. Definitely, you could not put it in a better way. This is Africa at its best. Ostriches, wildebeest, a giraffe walking, stopping there, posing and looking. And I would encourage all of you one day to come and visit Africa and maybe come and join us to see what we do. Very majestic as they walk, giraffes moving 2 legs of one side at the same time, which is called ambling. Michael, sorry, what did Michael ask? Sorry. Michael, I think it might rain, and you're saying it looks pretty hot. In the morning, we saw some nice clouds as the sun was pushing up on the eastern horizon. And those dark clouds, I thought there were signs of rain. So I'll not be surprised if we get some rain today, Michael. So come join us this afternoon when we'll be out on the Sunset Drive. And the short trains could be coming any time now. I'm sure the temperatures could be way over 20 at the moment, Celsius. And maybe going to 70 plus or so in Fahrenheit. and the wildebeest, I think, might stay here a bit longer. If you look, the grass is pretty short where they are, and they have no reason maybe to move down to Serengeti in Tanzania. You see that green grass there, and pretty short. But the females will have to move very quickly when maybe we come to December, so that come the month of February, they'll be the eastern Serengeti and the western Ngorongoro conservation area to bring down their babies. You can see the shimmering in the background there, as Michael was saying, and that shows the heat or how warm it is at the moment. And the short trains coming in, maybe from today or tomorrow, will not be a surprise. Majestic giraffe walking alone. I'm sure she could be going to join the rest. Looks like a young male to me. Good luck, keep walking, giraffe. And now let's go to some buffaloes with Steve Ovo.
Thanks, David. So David's predicting the rains tomorrow. Well, very interesting. They come out of nowhere up here. But thank you to Judy H and to Shamsang Nazi for giving me some information on Twitter. It is a word I've known before, but I don't know too much about it. Brucellosis is actually a pathogen that potentially is, well, it is carried in buffalo, and it does lead to joint swelling, and it is transferable to humans, which is very interesting. It is known in Botswana and in the Kruger National Park. It doesn't lead to death of the animal, but it leads to swelling in the knees, particularly, which is quite interesting. And, well, it can be contracted by humans due to the eating of buffalo. And it's also known as Mediterranean fever. So it's an infection spread from animals to people, mostly through unpasteurized dairy when it comes to the Mediterranean form. But in Africa, obviously, bushmeat is a reality. And there's more vehicles passing by. And many people in southern Africa feed on buffalo. It's a primary food source. There's even a food market in France from African immigrants that have moved through. There's a buffalo market that has been moved into Europe, so hence why it's becoming contracted there. There's a pathogen transferred via the meat, and, well, don't fear, folks, it is curable with about 6 weeks worth of medication, and it's diagnosed by a blood sample, so don't stress. But in buffalo populations it does occur, and certain individuals will stay infected for pretty much their whole life, but it doesn't seem to affect them too badly, just like they are carriers of TB. It doesn't affect them. So I think that poor buffalo will be okay. Chihuahua, you want to know what animals eat the African buffalo? Well, most certainly lions do. People do, and I just mentioned what happens with people. We can contract it as well, but you can also contract bovine tuberculosis or TB from buffalo, so you need to be careful. If you do ever happen to come across buffalo meat and you want to eat it, well, there's only two ways to eat buffalo meat because it's very tough. One is to flash fry it very, very quickly. The second is to boil it in a stew for a very, very long time because it's very tough, and I would suggest always boiling, because that will kill and break down pretty much anything that's in there. But essentially, lions do not contract many of the diseases that buffalo carry, such as brucellosis. It's not something I've heard of before, but they can contract TB. Leopards have contracted TB as well for scavenging off of buffalo carcasses, and that's quite evident in individuals in the Nkuhuma Pride. You can see some of the swellings on the elbows in the Nkuhuma Pride, and that, we believe, is from the contraction of TB. So it does affect them. It affects their fitness, fatigue levels, and so it's important for a pride to stay together. So seemingly doesn't do too much harm in lion prides due to the fact that the lions can assist each other in the feeding. There's leopards, though, that have scavenged off of buffalo carcasses, they really do struggle with TB. And we had an individual in the Kruger Park in 2008 that we collared for research that was diagnosed with TB. He was a big male, and slowly but surely over time TB took hold and he wasn't able to successfully hunt, and well, he just diminished as an individual. So very, very sad indeed, but it is part and parcel of being out in nature. Animals' diseases are transferred to sort of eliminate and whittle out the weak and perpetuate the strong. And these buffalo, though, not concerned with anything at the moment. Feeding and feeding, covering, filling their bellies, and shortly, like the ones on the left over here, just on the left over here, James, they will be lying up with a belly full of grass, bedding down, ruminating, just in time for the end of show. Thank you all for joining us. What an interesting morning we've had with eagles on the ground, bat-eared foxes and jackal, lions and sausages, leopards in the form of tandi. And, well, thank you for joining us. We will see you again this afternoon. Thanks for the comments and questions. Thanks to FC, Sydney and David, and all the cam-ups. We'll see you all later. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.